Hey everybody, I'm Oakley at Oakley Does Everything, and today I finally make my nerd shelf, and I give you a tour of the Nerd Nook, so stay tuned. Alright, so here it is. It is all put up, and I have a lot of my stuff on the shelves already, but there is a ton more stuff that I do need to hang up on the walls. For example, I have a calendar here that I need to put up. I have some stuff in the basement that I need to hammer, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But this is the start, so let me show you some of the things I have up here right now. So let's start on the upper shelf, and actually next to the upper shelf is my sign. I used to have a music business where I composed music, taught music lessons, used to be a music teacher, and even though I still have those skills and everything like that, I'm not currently using them, but that is something that my in-laws got me for, I want to say, a birthday, but they gave it to me as a present of some kind, birthday or Christmas, and I proudly have it up there, so let's take a closer look at that. But yeah, that was the name of my business, Oakley Lion Music LLC, and my slogan was "Where Music is Created." So they had somebody make this sign for me, and I love having it hung up there. So I do have a couple Pops figures, and I know a ton of people love to collect Pops. That's not really my thing. I do have two of them up there. Only one of them I bought, and it was because my wife and I were huge fans of Game of Thrones, and my wife loves Dany and all of her dragons, so I saw this at a convention and thought I'd get it for her. So here it is, the Daenery and Drogon Pops figure, so it is a little bit larger. It's a normal Pops figure with a larger dragon, but yeah, it's something that's really cool. She said I can put it up on my shelf. I'm a huge fan of it. It's pretty sweet. The next thing I have is this Dragonball Z Trunks figurine that is from the mid-90s, I want to say, and I actually won this from the Runaway Warlords. They were doing a giveaway, and I got the first pick of the litter, so I went with Trunks. Trunks is probably my favorite DBZ character, and I've done a couple episodes with them, so make sure to go check out their YouTube channel, Runaway Warlords. Their primary topic is One Piece, but they love all things anime, and every once in a while they'll just do kind of like a roundtable thing, and so that's a lot of fun. So, but here is a close-up of that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Britt and Drew and the gang over on the Runaway Warlords Discord, they're an awesome group, so go check them out. The other Pops figure I have in my collection is Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This Pops figure was given to me from a student because they saw that I had this Drax the Destroyer right there, which I actually received when I went and saw the movie with my wife in the theaters. And when you buy a large cup, it came with this little figure on top, and so I kept it. And in that movie, I actually became a much larger fan of Drax than I did in the first movie. I didn't really like him in the first movie, but in the second movie, I really enjoyed his character development, and so I am a much larger fan of Drax now than I used to be, but he's probably my favorite Guardian now. So here are my two Drax figures. Moving on, I do have a couple loose figures. This is Cayde 6 from Destiny. I got this for pre-ordering Destiny 2, and it came with this little Cayde 6 figurine right here. He's my favorite NPC Guardian from the game. Here's a Porg Funko's Pops figure, little bobblehead, and this one was given to me by another student back in the day that gave it to me as a present. So This one definitely stays on the shelf, and my daughter gets a kick out of this one, and she enjoys playing with this every once in a while too. Next I have a handmade clock. This was given to me and my wife as a wedding present back in 2012. My uncle is a fine woodworking crafter, and he has made so many amazing things. I have a couple of his pieces here in my house. He made a little side desk for my grandma who passed away a couple months ago, and now I have that. And I have this clock, and he also made me a small chest that he made me as a graduation present. But he makes some amazing wood pieces, and I am just happy to have a few of his pieces in my collection. The only Lego kit I have in my possession is this Jedi Starfighter. I actually bought my wife and I a Lego kit to put together back in 2017, I want to say, 2017 or 18. There was a hurricane that came through North Carolina, and one of the things that we did is we actually assembled those two Lego kits. The Lego kit that I got my wife, she put together, and then we donated it to somebody else. But this one, I really enjoy it. I really love the design of it, and so I wanted to keep this for myself in my collection. But here it is, a little close-up. You can kind of see it. We got R2-D2 and then Anakin Skywalker on the inside piloting. So this is a really old how-to book. It is How to Run a Lathe, and this is from the South Bend Lathe Works. This was given to me from a close family friend back in North Carolina. The Rowe family gave me this. I believe one of their mothers had a antique store of some kind, and they saw this and thought I would love it. This dates back to like the 1950s. So the most recent copyright date is 1952, so this is a pretty old book. This is, you know, about 70 years old at this point. And so it's just really cool. It's special to me just because of the people that gave it to me. They were amazing. I love them. They're great people, and I got to spend a lot of time with them before we moved back to Iowa. But this is in my collection here just to remind me of them every once in a while. The next two things that I have on the top shelf are related to the SR-71 Blackbird. I had the great privilege to go see one in person back in 2019, May of 2019. My wife, my sister-in-law, and we went to the DC area for my wife's master degree graduation ceremony up in Baltimore, and while we were in that area we went to the, I think it's Chanley Space, the Aerospace Museum, where they have all the airplanes and stuff like that. Not in DC, but outside, where they have the hangar full of everything, including the space shuttle, the SR-71, and the Enola Gay, and so many other amazing things. And that was such a mind-boggling experience. I loved it. And while I was there, I got a Metal Earth model of the SR-71 Blackbird. I did a video on that about a year ago, so you can go see that. And then for this past Christmas, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law got me a piece of a SR-71 Blackbird that I keep up here. So that is this, and I love how the piece that comes off of it has, you know, the triangular shape similar to the SR-71 itself. And yeah, so here's my model. You can see, you can go check out the video of that, and then here is a piece of an SR-71. And the SR-71 I just love. It's such a cool plane. I'm just infatuated by it. It's just so cool. Alright, moving on to the lower shelf. This is a set of bead artwork that I got from an Instagrammer. Her name on Instagram is the Wilcox Workshop. I actually did a craft exchange with her, and so in exchange for these two pieces, which is a portrait of Mewtwo as well as an Umbreon, this was like a little bonus gift, which I really, really love. It's really amazing. There you can see that. But in exchange for these, I sent her a wood carving of Blake's emblem from the show Ruby. So I wood carved out that emblem out of a piece of hard maple, and I sent that to her, and so she sent this to me. So I'm really happy that I have these in my collection. And make sure to go check her out because she does a ton of giveaways, so make sure you follow her on Instagram and watch out for those giveaways. Next thing on the shelf are the Nerf blasters, and these are just temporarily up on the shelf. These aren't actually mine. In the videos, I worked alongside my brother-in-law to customize some pretty standard Nerf guns, and we had a blast doing it and learned a lot about how to do modifications as well as the inner workings of a Nerf gun, so that was a lot of fun. But these actually belong to him and my sister-in-law, so these won't be staying here very long. These are going back to them eventually, so it was just something I wanted to keep on the shelf for this video, as well as doing all the beauty shots for the Nerf Blaster mod video that we did a couple weeks ago. And if you haven't seen that, make sure to go check it out because these are really, really cool. I'm very happy with how these turned out, and Ryan had a blast working on them as well, so just pretty neat. Another thing that I got from the Runaway Warlords, which is a single volume of the first 3 volumes of the One Piece manga. I'm not a manga collector by any means, but I did a collaboration with the Runaway Warlords. When I did the giveaway of the Jean Arc sword that I made, they won it, and then I did a collaborative video with them, and that was a lot of fun. I've done 2 with them so far, I think. And as a thank you, Drew sent me this just as a thank you, and so I keep it up here as a sentimental appreciation. So again, go check out the Runaway Warlords, they're awesome. Alright, so the next thing I have up here is a little portrait of Scissor from Pokemon, the extended evolution of Scyther, and I got this from Cat's Arts, another Instagrammer that I follow. I actually found her through Wilcox Workshop. My understanding is that she started doing some artwork at the beginning of the pandemic during quarantine and stuff like that, and this was one of her earlier pieces that she did. And she made a post of a couple different portraits that she drew and said, tell me which one's your favorite. And I said that this one was my favorite. And she said, okay, what's your address? And sent it to me. So all the way from London, or the UK anyways. And so she sent it from England, which was really cool. And she has made a ton of progress on her artwork over the coming year or so, and it's just getting better and better. So so a huge thank you to Cat's Arts for this. I appreciate it, and that's staying up on my nerd shelf. The next thing I have up there are the dice boxes that I made for my wife, her sister, and her husband. They are currently 3 of the 5 players that we have in our D&D campaign, so I made these dice boxes for them, as well as bought them some custom dice for each of them individually to kind of go along with their characters. Now the reason they're up here is because we play D&D at our house, up in this room that we're in. And so we just keep them up here for when we play, and then that way I can have them on display and they can just come over here, grab them when they're ready to play. And again, I do have a video on how I made these, so make sure to go check that out. I would love for you to see how I did it. The next thing I have up here is this Winnie the Pooh book. From a very young age, my parents introduced my siblings and I to Winnie the Pooh, and it's been a staple in our family growing up, and now I'm hoping to introduce it to my daughter and any future kids that we might have. But this is a very, very old copy of the Winnie the Pooh book that is very, very old. The spine is falling apart kind of deal. And I actually got this from my grandfather on my dad's side. I believe we were actually at his house for my grandma's funeral because she had recently passed away. And we were just kind of going through a lot of stuff, and I saw this, and I asked my grandpa if it was something I could have, and he said yeah, and so I inherited it, I suppose you could say, and it's something that I really, really love because it does remind me of my dad, who passed away about 6 years ago, and just how much love he had for the characters of Winnie the Pooh, and especially Eeyore. Having this makes me feel a little less lonely whenever I'm missing him, so this one is up here just to kind of remind me of my dad every once in a while. So now this is probably my most cherished possession. This is a teddy bear named Teddy. Very original, I know. And as far as I know, this is the thing that I have had the longest in my life. It's not the oldest thing that I own, but it is the thing that I have had for the longest time. So what I've been told is I was actually given this teddy bear from the doctors and nurses at the hospital for being the largest baby born that day or something like that. And I was 11 pounds, 22 inches long when I was born. So from my understanding, this teddy bear is older than I am, but I've had it since the day I was born. Teddy is a cherished possession of mine that I keep everywhere I go, and he's always looking over my shoulder now on my shelf. So here is my teddy bear. He's in pretty good shape, and yeah, I just keep him close. Now for the thing that is probably the oldest thing that I own is this pocket watch, and this was given to me by my wife on our wedding day, and it's so incredibly cool. It's gold plated. It was just an incredibly amazing gift that she gave me. And there are a few things that need to get checked out with it. We're hoping to get it to a repair shop. The glass needs to be replaced, maybe get a tune-up as well. But when she was looking at getting it, they did a little research and they're thinking it's from like the 1870s, 1880s. So this is a very, very old pocket watch, but it's so cool. So here's a little glimpse of it. Show you the inside. Can't really tell that the glass is broken on it, but it's a pretty stellar watch. I really love it. And I think the last thing I have to show you is my guitar. Now this is the very first guitar that I made. So I had the opportunity to participate in a STEM guitar building class. And that's through stemguitarbuilding.org, and I'll put a link down below so any of you that are interested in that can go check that out. But basically, you get to do this camp for a week where you get to build your own guitar, and the idea is to teach these teachers how to do this so that they can go back to their schools and teach a class teaching your students on how they can build guitars. And so I was fortunate enough to go do that. This was the first one I made, and to this point I've made 6, I believe, about to start making my 7th one here in a couple months that I'm excited to start making because I do plan to participate in the Great Guitar Build-Off for 2021. So here's hoping that goes well, and yeah, this was the start of my guitar building, and it's probably one of the things I enjoy doing most, as it ties in my professional ability of music to my supreme enjoyment of making things. Making guitars is kind of where my real passion is, and hopefully I can start doing that a lot more in the future. So that is it for my nerd shelf and my nerd nook here. This is just a little corner of the upstairs of my house. Alright everybody, that is going to be it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't done so yet, or you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Also, if you're interested in more nerdy content or just any other things that I work on, I do have some videos queued up for you in the top corners here, so please make sure to check those out. But other than that, I'll see everybody on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.